Welcome back to the channel. Change to the scheduled van upgrades with the wishbone. The weather here is awful, to say the very least. So we're going to get on with some inside jobs first. That being the transition step between the living space and the cab. The idea that I'm going for is to face off the edge, not with this stuff, obviously it's going to be a lot bigger, face off the edge of it, put a cap piece on the top to form just a L shape, of which the face piece will be beveled to match the transition in the wall. Become a bit more obvious when I show you out there. So we're going to make it out of pine, hard pine, which we're going to stain down, put teeth in, to the same stain that we've used on the wall. It's the same stain that we'll be using on the cupboard doors, so we'll get all of that stained up at the same time. The top and base will be put together with biscuits rather than glue and screws, because I don't want them showing. There will be there's pre-done nut rivets already in place on the top of it. My intention is not to use those, but to put them on the face edge instead. They'll be less visible to the naked eye, and I just think a bit more aesthetically pleasing. So we won't be using those. We are going to round over all of the surfaces so that it's a smooth transition. The only thing that we've got to overcome is the back of the current seat. That part sticks out into where we want to fix this thing, so we will need to cut out a recess for that, and then we'll chamfer around that piece so that it sort of naturally glides down. On a slightly different note, new t-shirts, courtesy of my sister, so thank you very much, Bex. I will put a link to her email and that for these sort of things if anybody's interested. She is available to do those. She has done me a number of these, so I will now start wearing different shirts. You'll all be pleased to know. So still with the logo, still with the new Van Conversions logo on the back. So once again, thank you, Bex. So we're going to get set up in an extremely warm, humid cabin. So we'll open the door. We have got a dry spell at the moment, unbelievably. But the minute I take tools out to go and do the van, you can bet your ass it will rain, since it's done nothing but do that all flipping day. So I'll get you set up over there so that I can work over here. We need to mill down some pieces. We've got an incredibly long board over there that has been occupying a lot of space, so we need to get rid of that. So we need to mill that down to 7 centimeters in height, width, whatever you want to call it. We will do fine tuning after the fact. So we need to rip that down to length and width. For that, obviously, we'll be using the table saw. With table saw, I've got a new mask. Mrs H made me buy a full face mask because she's worried about my peepers, since I don't always wear one. Naughty me. Anyway, so I've got a full face mask, so excuse the stupid look from Alien. So we'll get that done, and then we'll try and do this little transition step. Hopefully it'll make sense, but we'll get some pieces milled and that, and then we can show you what we're thinking. So I'm going to pause you for a sec, move you over there, get set up on the table saw with the correct width and everything, and then we'll get going. Okay, so what we're doing then is this transitional step here. So we're gonna that vertical piece that we've just been milling, again with the cars, will go here, and then there'll be a flat piece there. And as I said, the step will need to be trimmed around, so we need to measure the width here plus the width of the board, and then calculate this step here. Okay, so the very first cut then we need to make is at 175 centimeters. So we're using the crosscut sled that comes with a table saw. I'm not quite sure how long these mics will last. I've got another one, so we'll go and get that in a sec. So we need to make 175, which I've marked off. We're all set up, ready to go. Safety first, as always. Stupid new mask. So he's noisy, sorry. Right, that's the very first cut. Dispenser of that, we'll keep that. I'm sure there's a rule about using scraps or saving scraps. I am the worst for saving. Right, now this piece is not going to fit all the way through. As you can see, we are short of space, so we do need to adjust our positioning just a smidge. So what we'll do is we'll open this door fully. Our patented stop block. Right, okay, we've got our board marked up. I've put a line here using just tape at the front of the blade. The reason for that is that I need to stop at this line here, which you may or may not see. I need to stop cutting there because with this only being 7 centimeters tall, obviously the board is a little bit bigger than that. Not by much, but I need to make a transition cut there at about 45 degrees. So the last thing I want to do is just rip all the way across. The reason for that is that the other board will sit in that space. So we'll sit inside that line that I make, and it will give me a very slight transition to the end of the piece to act as a skirting board. So the reason for the line is to correspond with this, so that I know when to stop the machine. Okay, it's a slow, steady process to go through. It's not a rush, and we will be stopping the blade with it still in the machine. So we do need to be careful. Because we need to be careful, we will be using obviously the face mask, but we'll also be using a pad that grips the timber to push it through. Not a push stick. So we're not using a push stick for this. Wait until the blade's fully removed or fully stopped, and then you can take it off. What that does is the kerf of the blade ends up there, which ends up on that line there, and as you can see, the other end is quite short of that line. So what we'll need to do is just trim that line by hand, and then we can just make our 45 cut also by hand. Okay, right, let's zoom you out again so you can see. Right, so having cut the major piece, okay, and then what we'll do is let's get a clamp on that, stop it flipping moving, because that's irritating. There. And that's much better. Much better. Can you still see me over there? Yeah, just. I would have used my tensor, but I can't find it. and not possessing a Japanese pull saw yet, I clearly can't use one of those. Right, piece of battening. I don't know what we use it for, but we'll put that in the got to save it pile. It will definitely come in handy for something. As all timbers do. So this is the basis now of what we're going to do. So all we need to do now is just take off that corner. And then we can get going. So that's going to sit like that. The other piece, got to tidy that junction up there. We'll get a chisel on that. So the other piece will sit on top, going that way, and then we will round over all the piece, all the way across. And hopefully it will look fairly reasonable. So what we're going to do now is we'll cut the other piece to length, and then we'll start to get these assembled. Okay, right, board's cut to length. We've calculated it to be 10.8 centimetres in total. So that's the 9 that we need for the shelf, plus the 18 for the actual board itself. So, fence is set at 10.8. Without further ado, face mask on. And there we go. Always retract the blade. That in English was always retract the blade, just in case. So, put two pieces together. Let's use that rip fence again. So, as I said, how they're going to sit will be like so. Now we could get away with just glue and brads, to be honest. So we're going to clean up this junction just here so that we get a nice tight fit up this end. And then, I don't know if you can see that, but that is the smallest of bevels. So we'll just knock that down with a file when we're done. So that's our two pieces, nicely cut. So we'll round over this edge, and then we'll round over all of that, and then we'll just round that piece, sorry, this piece here, we'll round that piece just with a file. So Let's go and get a file. Because I don't think I've got one. Oh, I might have one in here actually. Yes, I do. That little sucker will do. Not strictly what it was intended for, but works nonetheless. Works very well. Let's just get a piece of rough cut and just that needs to be tight at the front, which it is. Lovely. Obviously it is going to get a thorough sanding, but that for the moment is good. Very bad. This piece was reclaimed out of a skip, so I never throw anything away. There's nothing wrong with it. Right, that'll do for the sanding for the moment. It's just to take the rough edges off. Now, for the fun part, rounding over. So what we've got here is a trim router with a 1/4 inch rounding over bit. And what you get on these, so this is a 1-speed motor. Okay, you can see the router bit. That's a 1/4 inch round over with a guide bearing. Okay, the guide bearing just follows the timber, stops it chewing in too deep. They are violent. You will lose your fingers if you misplace or misplay with it. So my answer, don't. It's not worth your fingers. And what we're going to do is clamp it down for safety. So they can't move. We'll make sure that our piece isn't impeded in any way, shape or form. Lovely. Limitations on the wire is about the only problem. And what you end up with is a rounded over piece. Couldn't be that simple. Could not be that more simple. So what we've done with it is we've just created just a tiny step. Let me just grab you so you can see. So you can see just the tiniest of steps just there, just to give it a bit of an extra feature. Try that shoddy camera work. Right, so that's that piece done. We need to do the top edge of that piece as well. That's annoying. Same again. And then I'll just do this piece because this is the lead edge. Great little toy, but bloody violent. things. There you have it. That's the basic setup. So what we need to do now is test it one more time. That is looking lovely. Just the transition there is just nice. So it's going to be held flush to the frame, flush to each other with glues, and as I say, we'll go and get the compressor sorted out and the nail gun. That'll work. And then we need something pretty close just to act as a support. Since we don't actually have a 7mm piece, or 7cm piece, sorry, I'll have to improvise, like so. So we'll glue it, we'll pin it, and then we'll fill the holes before we stain it and install it. That's the theory. So I'll pause you again. I'm going to get the compressor and the nail gun. It's the glue that's going to hold it together, not the nails. I could do it by hand. When you got the toys, you may as well use them. Okay. Right, we're all set up. So I'll put a line of glue down on the piece. And right, my little puddings, since you've been away, we have scalloped out this piece and rounded over all the edges. We've rounded over the back piece there as well as the front. The piece is in, as you can see. Much better than what was there before. Obviously we've still got to stain it, we've got to sand it and everything. The only thing I need to do now is just notch out for this step, and then that will sit perfectly flush. As you can see at the minute it's not. So, and that's all down to that gap just there. So once we shave that out, that will look dandy, and then all that needs then is a bloody good clean, which we like doing anyway. So that's the transition step constructed. Just need staining to match the Wonderwall. Do excuse the mess, we've been buying furniture. So we just need to stain that down to match that. Do the upper cupboards. The blue strip there is for the hinge placement, which will match on the other side, and then we can get around to just, there's the door there, so we can just get around to finishing these little pieces. And there's the car again, always when we're filming. So that's the step transition done. Just as I said, needs sanding and staining and just this little piece notching out, and then we'll fit it. And then when we do the walkthrough of everything, we'll show you that. We'll show you the doors and little secret stashes that we've done. I turned you off, sorry. So, from Doris and myself, thanks for watching. Do give it a thumbs up, a like and a subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Hopefully the weather will hold like this during the week and we can get these bloody brakes and everything done. So, while I remember, I'll tell you this at the start of the video as well, because I'm going to have to now piece that in. You can now follow the channel through YouTube. You can subscribe to the channel so you can get updates. You'll get little gadgets as well, behind the scenes stuff, and we can do live Q&As on some of the other stuff that we've done as well. So do check out the subscriptions. You can do super thanks or super stickers, I think they're called as well. It'd be very much appreciated. It is the sort of, we are getting there towards building this channel as a full-time thing. So and the apron, God, stay clean, she moans. So from the two of us, thank you for watching. Thumbs up, like and subscribe, and we'll see you soon. Take care.